So we just got in our DJI Mini 3 Pro. It's a new sub 250 gram micro drone. That means you don't need to have a license and you don't need to register the drone. We bought the Fly More kit the day it launched on May 10th, and we received it last night on June 1st. So we ordered the drone with the RC screen and the Fly More kit, which comes with 2 extra batteries and some other stuff. So first off, let's tear it apart. So you get the drone. It's physically bigger than the old one. And one thing I did notice right away is you can unfold the props without getting in the way of, like on the Mini 2 and the Mini 1, there was an antenna that stuck down as the landing gear. So you'd have to open everything in a certain sequence. So you can do back first, front second, or you can do front second, back first, and it doesn't interfere with it either way. So that's cool. You're not gonna get caught up by the arms anymore. It's dimensionally a little bit bigger. So you've got a nicer gimbal cover as well. Really easy to put on and take off. You just lock it in place. It goes over the 2 downward infrared emitters that are used for the downward vision system. The battery slides in and out with just a squeeze. There's no crazy clip or anything like the Mini 1 and Mini 2 had. This is the 249 gram total takeoff weight battery. You squeeze it a little bit and it feels like it's mostly just air inside. I'm sure if we took it apart, there would be a tiny little battery inside. And the bigger one that is also offered is for 37 minutes of flight time. It's a fair bit heavier, so the total takeoff weight goes to 290 grams. So inside this, we've also got memory card slot. Once your memory card's in the drone, you're gonna need another memory card to get it out. It's very tight and very tiny. So that's something to think about. USB-C charging. It doesn't come with a charge adapter. We'll talk about that a bit more in a second here, but there is a USB cable, and that's it. So let's put this aside. Oh yeah, and obviously big change with the Mini 3 is vision system. So you've got downward firing vision for tracking its position. The Mini 1 and 2 kind of had that. It's not as good or as big of a cameras, but it also has forward facing and rear facing vision. So it looks over its shoulder backwards. So if it's flying backwards, it will see obstacles like trees and buildings. And if it's going forward, it'll see obstacles. And it uses the 2 cameras for stereo vision to get that depth of perception. Wouldn't trust it around power lines or really small trees or branches. Like I don't think there's a minimum size of obstacle, but a person's body would be fine, but probably not like a small arm or something, so please be safe. And then there's the gimbal on the camera, and you can see it rotates vertically, so you can do vertical video with native capability now, which is pretty cool. You're not cropping in footage and losing that resolution. We'll talk more about the camera in a second. So the other thing that comes in the drone box, this was $980 US. So I think all said and done, this was around 1,500 Canadian after tax and shipping from DJI. It comes with the new RC controller and a box of something. Or not. Let's see what's in here. Got USB-C cable, a spare set of A and B props. So these would be A's, let's say, and these are B's, right? Because they're opposing. Set of screws for it. It does come with a screwdriver. Someone had said it didn't. So there's the screwdriver. That's for replacing the props. And quick start guide. Regulatory stuff. Share this guy. CAA regulatory stuff. Oh, so they put a rule book for the New Zealand drone laws in the box. That's cool. Where's the Canadian one? There's an Australian drone laws pamphlet. That's Japanese drone laws. Safety guidelines book. Oh, it's a warranty card saying that if you crash it, it's your fault. That is, oh, it's radio frequencies. Okay, so actually that's kind of cool. I hadn't even looked at this stuff before, but this is pretty neat. The fact that it's coming with drone regulatory pamphlets, I'm kind of surprised. I hadn't thought of that before, but that's actually really cool to see this stuff in here. I would like to see a Canadian and American one. Like, if they're gonna shove this in here, why not show those as well? So that's that would be all you get out of the box if you were to just buy the Mini 3 with RC. So there's a battery. I've already thrown an SD card in it. And then on the controller, so you've got the sticks are embedded in the bottom. They are not the same as the previous generation controller. The threaded head is on the RC, which is, I honestly think, a really bad idea. Because if you break this off, you then have to replace the entire gimbal on the controller. Whereas on the old ones, if you broke off the stick, because it was a male thread on this end, if you broke it off, you could use like a thread puller and probably get it out, or use some glue or something and replace the stick. Because I know people have been replacing these with friction or cine sticks, they're called. So that's something to be aware of. Screen's nice and bright. Let's power it on. And you've got cine, normal, and sport mode. Separate buttons for start and stop recording and start and stop the camera. 2 wheels. This one is for gimbal tilt up and down. This one is for zoom, and it's a nice smooth zoom in. It's digital, it's not optical. So as you zoom in, I think up to 2 times, you lose some quality in your resolution, but it is nice and smooth. And then there's 2 custom function buttons on the bottom. By default, this one is tilt the gimbal up or down, and this one is switch from vertical to horizontal or horizontal to vertical video. It won't do it while you're recording. You have to stop and start your recording. So there's the screen powered on. Let's see what brightness it's at right now. It's at maximum brightness. So that's actually really nice. By comparison, this is an iPhone 13 Pro Max at maximum brightness. So this thing's not running an app right now, but one of the big things about having an RC Pro, this is 700 nits, I think this is 800 nits, but as soon as you put this in a controller and start running DJI Fly and it's outside, you can't disable the auto brightness. No matter what you do, because it's OLED, it's trying to protect the screen, it starts to dim to the point where it's actually really difficult to use in daylight. So even having like a really high-end nice smartphone isn't the best when it comes to outdoors. And then the other nice thing about using this over using a phone is you're not tied to your device with your phone. If you want to fly your drone and also use your phone to communicate with someone, or if you've got someone that's a spotter or something else like that and they want to call you, you can do that and have your earpiece and not tying up resources to your phone. You can also rest assured that this software is going to be compatible with your phone for hopefully forever, or as long as this device or this drone is supported. Whereas a lot of people I've found that are buying the Mini series drone, well, they've spent $1,500 on this drone, and then someone tells them, well, you need a new phone to support this drone. Well, in this case, you don't. You don't need to go out and buy a brand new smartphone right away in order to fly your drone. I did that. I had an iPhone 6, and the iPhone 6 was not enough power to fly my drones with at the time, because the app kept crashing or it would overheat and the battery would die. So that's kind of important. So there's the controller. It does have a USB-C charging port on the bottom. It has a memory card slot for storing screen recordings from this, and it has a host port. If you plug the host port into the drone while the controller is powered on, you can siphon some power. So if you get in this situation where you need some power, you can pull some power out of the controller into the drone. So there you'll see it's powered on, or it's going to charge. It's fully charged at the moment, so it doesn't need it. But when I pulled it out of the box, you have to charge the battery before it'll activate the battery. So I pulled some power from the controller to do the first battery because I didn't have a USB-C charger handy. I don't have a USB-C charger now. Like, this is kind of, I get it, right? People have USB chargers everywhere, but you're not necessarily gonna have the right one. So one of the things to bring up though with this drone kit is, if you're gonna get yourself a USB-C adapter, not all USB chargers are made the same. So you're gonna want something that supports power delivery and high-speed charging over USB-C. And I've got a couple shots that we'll cut in here that show the difference. Like, you'll actually see the dots moving fast across the drone when it's charging fast, or they'll move slowly across when it's charging slow. And it could be like 4 times slower to charge with the wrong USB adapter. So the controller comes pre-installed with DJI Fly app. You got to connect it to Wi-Fi to download any firmware updates. You have to log in with your DJI account in order to fly it further than the restriction. So I think it's 50 meters or something distance that it will fly if you don't log in. The antennas are in the top. You want to aim the controller at the drone, depending on where you are. And so that's pretty much everything we get in the drone box. So we also got the Fly More kit. Now the Fly More kit, I don't remember what the price breakdown was, but everything was 1,500, give or take Canadian, by the time it shipped. So in the Fly More kit box, you get this bag. It looks very similar to the bag that the last drone came with, and also the others. Oh, it feels like there's something in here I didn't notice before. So first thing you see when you open it up is the battery case. And it comes with 2 additional, this is the sub 250 gram, the lightweight battery kits. So you can put up to 3 batteries in here. It has a USB-C in for charging and a USB-A out. So you can actually use this as a brick to charge other devices, but it doesn't include a USB-A to C cable. So, good idea. What else is there in here? There is an instruction manual, and it says, that's funny. So here it says, there's a picture showing you the total weight of the drone. So that's the drone, the lightweight battery, plus the memory card is less than 249 grams. So that's your takeoff weight of the drone. So that's kind of nice. If you have the bigger batteries, like I said, it's roughly 290 grams. There's a user guide. There is something in the top compartment. Oh, I spoke too soon. There is a USB-A to C cable. So you can use this bidirectionally. You can use it to pull power from your power brick if you want to use this as a portable power pack for some reason. Or you can plug it into a USB-A power and charge this. But again, make sure that it supports power delivery. Input 5 volts at 3 amps, 9 volts at 3 amps, or 12 volts at 3 amps. So this thing will take quite a bit of juice, right? Because 12 volts at 3 amps is 36 watts, right? Whereas 5 volts at 3 amps is 15 watts. So you've got 3 different stages of power. It also comes with 2 more sets of propellers. So you've got 2 more A and B sets. Okay, and then the bag itself. It has a compartment for something almost tablet shaped, but small. Compartment for the drone and the controller and the batteries, and then a top compartment. I'm curious if everything's gonna fit in here because we'll put the props back in. So now we have 3 full sets of props and another USB-C cable. So we have an A to C and a C to C. Let's put all of these up front, never to be seen again. Screwdriver up front or on the top with the props kind of makes sense to me. You can leave the 1 battery in the drone. No prop holder. That's something that you maybe just want to get like a rubber band or something, because otherwise it's like this. So the Mavic 3 comes with a prop holder that would go in the biggest compartment, probably nose down. The batteries go there. I think, let's see if we can put this in without taking the sticks off. It's not, this is really not ideal. So I'm probably going to be using our Pelican case that we've got for the Mavic 3 and throw this in with it because there's actually enough room for both of them. There we go. Okay, so that's, you can see that the controller is kind of rammed in there. I don't know if that's what they meant. That seems okay. I would, after having that little rant about the quality of the sticks, I would probably take the sticks off. So let's talk quickly about specs for the drone. It's now got the ability for 4K 60 frames a second. It has 3-direction obstacle sentence, so forward, backwards, and down. It will do 1080p at 200 frames a second now. They just updated the firmware. And it does active track, master shots, and hyperlapse. Hyperlapse is pretty cool because it lets you set a waypoint and have time lapse as the drone flies from point A to point B. None of the minis had that before built in. So we'll do some flying and we'll get some shots and we'll see what image quality looks like, and we'll have a bit of a review on that after this. Here's a sample test shot I captured on the first flight as I was on my way into the office this morning. This top-down shot was captured in 4K at 23,976 frame rate in the HQ mode using the D-Cinelite color profile. This was without an ND filter, so the motion's a bit jittery, because in order to expose the scene properly at a minimum ISO of 100 and with a fixed aperture of f1.7, the shutter speed needed to be 1/500th of a second. The shutter speed should have been 1/50th, or 2 times your frame rate, roughly. You can see the jitter I'm talking about most here in the edges of the frame when the drone rotates to follow the tractor as it turns around. Look at the top right of the image there. Here's a quick example of using the digital zoom function. The resolution loss isn't terrible, and it ramps nicely with a smooth transition using the wheel on the shoulder of the RC remote. Finally, here's a simple grade applied to these images to bring it back from a flat color profile that D-Cinelite would be to something that'd be more normal for broadcast or for YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more updates on the Mini 3 Pro from Coastal Drone.